Bonjour. Isn't a garden a wonderful canvas? A page that can be written, rewritten and enriched over time. I have always loved gardens. I bought my very first Pierre de Ronsard rose when I was only 17 and still living at my childhood home. I planted it in a pot, already convinced that one day it would follow me to my own garden. I cared for it for years, then my mother looked after it whilst I was married and living in New Zealand for 10 years, and when we eventually came back to France, my beloved Pierre de Ronsard had quietly waited on the promise I had once made to myself. It is now planted here in our home. So yes, isn't a garden a wonderful canvas indeed? One made of promises, memories, and dreams deeply rooted within us, filled with flowers that perhaps first bloomed in our hearts, long before they ever bloomed in the soil. I believe that just like a home, a garden is a place where we get to express who we are. Well, now that I come to think of it, perhaps even more than a home. Gardens are a more abstract art form. They allow emotions, instincts, and even contradictions to coexist. The more whimsical or unexpected parts of our personalities seem to find their place there more freely. A garden does not need to fully make sense to be beautiful. It simply needs to feel alive. And perhaps that is why gardens can feel so deeply emotional. They ask us to create alongside nature itself, shaping something living whilst never truly being in complete control of it. Much like inside our home, I like letting ideas slowly infuse in the garden before changing everything around. I prefer adding new layers over time, observing how each corner evolves and resisting the urge to rush things. For years, I had dreamt of large topiaries planted in terracotta pots. They remind me so much of the south of France, shaded courtyards, lined with aged pots and sculptural greenery of all sizes. So when I came across 2 pairs of large terracotta pots at our local garden centre, beautifully reminiscent of Provençal gardens, I decided it was finally time to plant that dream. I chose Ilex crenata rather than boxwood, as they are sturdier and less prone to disease. Over time, I will let them grow larger so they can truly crown the pots with pride. We also added several hedges throughout the garden in order to create perspectives and structure. I personally love gardens that balance formality with freedom. I think the two can coexist beautifully together, and perhaps it says quite a lot about who I am as a person. Everything will take time to grow into the vision we have imagined, but the bones are now there. And of course, books are always part of the process for me. One of my favorite sources of inspiration is Cordelia de Castellan's beautiful garden book, photographed around her countryside home. I love the way she combines the regal structure of jardin à la française with the joyful abundance of English-style borders. The lovely balance between formality and freedom I was talking about earlier. That warm and sunny evening felt like a gift, almost an invitation from the garden itself to stay outside a little longer and soak in its atmosphere. I prepared a very simple apéro dînatoire, gathering small plates of saucisson, olives, hummus, tzatziki, fresh breads, cheeses from the market, ham and charcuterie, along with a few bubbles to fill our glasses. The perfect way to welcome these longer evenings, sitting outside as the light slowly fades, letting conversations wander just as freely as the garden around us. I hope this video perhaps inspires you to give life to one of your dreams, however small, in your home or your garden. Thank you so much for spending this moment with me. À bientôt.